blurry without my reader.
We are recording.
Okay, welcome to the Hampstead Planning and Zoning Commission. Today is Wednesday, August 28th, 2024. The public is advised that members of the Hampstead Town Council may be present and in attendance at this meeting. All persons are reminded that this session is being recorded on tape as required by law for the preservation of records and are asked, when providing comment, to give their name and address. All persons in attendance are requested to print their name, address, and affiliation on the sign-in sheet. Okay, proposed agenda, we'll start with the minutes approval for July 24th, 2024.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. That was for the public hearing. Minutes approval for the regular commission meeting for July 24th, 2024.
Motion to approve.
I second the motion.
Second.
Second, I'm not allowed to. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Regular commission meeting minutes are approved. I'll ask Jim Rourke to give us a zoning administrator update.
Okay. Well, normally I start off every update with letting you all know about what's new with this water system modernization and centralization project. I'll skip that this month since we'll talk about it during the meeting. And feed and broadband, they're finishing up installing underground fiber lines in the Roberts Field community. Once that area is done, they will move to Main Street and the side streets off of Main. Most of the work in that zone will be aerial. Very little underground work will be necessary. Main Street is the final of 7 sectors in this project, and Tina will have quality control inspectors come in after that in the fall to ensure that all the areas that they tore the dirt up, that all disturbed areas have been returned to their prior condition. Last I heard, they're still hoping to be able to offer service to residents in the late fall. As far as Warshecks, the traffic study has been completed. It's being reviewed right now by State Highway and the county's Bureau of Engineering. We hope to have the results of those reviews in the next month. Besides that, they're pretty much on pace. They've got stormwater management, concept approval, and pretty much everything else, with the exception of engineering, which is waiting for the traffic study. So, Tractor Supply, you may remember last month at the public hearing, I mentioned that they were trying to figure out exactly how the sewer was going to run, whether it'd run along Main Street or would come back through the IDA property. Well, August 13th, I was in a meeting with Andy Watcher and Sean Hartman from Carroll County Bureau of Utilities with the IDA. We went over the proposed plan that Tractor Supply has. We showed the IDA exactly the path, and it was determined by the IDA that the proposed Tractor Supply sewer line would have no impact on their buildable land, so they gave the approval to TSC to move forward with that plan. So we now have a sewer line in place, so that's a good thing. So they'll work on updating their plans. The only other thing I thought I'd bring up is the thing that everybody seems to be talking about recently, which is the power lines. Very hot topic button. It has proposed power lines going through Carroll County. One of the 2 proposed routes comes through the town of Hampstead. Right on the southern end, it comes through the vacant industrial land right there by Hampstead Baptist Church, and then it skirts the backyards of Hillock and Barbed Court in Roberts Field. As you would expect, the town opposes this project, and basically we'll do everything in our authority to ensure this project will not negatively affect our town or our residents. We've let the contractor, who is PSEG, know our thoughts on several occasions over the last few weeks, including a meeting the mayor and I had with Jim Gilroy, who's PSC's manager of state affairs. In that meeting, we let Mr. Gilroy know our concerns and stress the negative impact it would have on Hampstead, not only on Hampstead, but on all of Carroll County. PSG is expected to pick a route and file an application with the Maryland Public Service Commission, the PSC, this fall. This has drawn enough attention that PSC has gone ahead and they've opened a dedicated email for collecting comments from the community. Those comments will be added to the public record file if Once PSEG files an application for a plan, at that point, those emails will be added to the public record file, so the commission has the benefit of every person's view on the project. The email address to leave comments for the PSC, Public Service Commission, is piedmontcomments.psc@maryland.gov. And we encourage everyone to share your thoughts with them and let them know exactly what you think of the plan.
I think you said Roberts Field. Where are those two roads in Roberts Field, like in
It is-
relation to the school? That's,
The Spring Garden, it is just past Spring Garden. It's all the way the very south edge.
so basically the end of the,
Yep, right where Roberts Field meets Cornfield.
so that's pretty close to the elementary school, because
Yes.
there's a very short run of
Yes.
townhouses
Yeah,
there.
there's, I think, 3 or 4 sections of townhomes, and then you're into the corn. So, yeah, it runs right along there. We'll see what happens. I know that PSEG was not expecting the backlash that they've received. They were pretty overwhelmed in the meetings they had in Westminster on the first information session, and then they were not at the talk with the commissioners and our delegates last week, but there was almost 800 people turned out for that one. So, and I can tell you this, that the term that we came up with and PSEG told us in the meeting with Jim Gilroy, basically what this is this is a long extension cord that will be running from just across the Pennsylvania line, coming down through a little bit of Baltimore County, predominantly through Carroll County into Frederick County, dumping some electric there, but then the most of that energy coming down through this long extension cord will then go into Northern Virginia to power data centers down there. So, is it of any benefit to Carroll County? They could not tell me that it was. So, that's where that stands, and that's the zoning report for this month.
Thank you, Jim. And I forgot to ask you to take roll.
Yes. So Sharon Callahan is absent. Lou Conyer,
Present.
Charlie Obermeyer.
Here.
Deborah Painter,
Here.
Barb Yeager.
Here.
Right.
Okay, next on the agenda, approval of a sign application, F. Douglas Harrell Agency, 1413 North Main Street.
So this is an application by Mr. Harrell to move his office from
1559 North Main.
okay to 1413. That's just north of Fairmount or 482. It's zoned residential office, and in the packet you see it's the sign is 20 inches by 24 inches, and standing on a post, very low impact.
Where is it now? What was that?
I'm sorry,
Where is the sign now? You're moving your office from
I'm moving off 1359 to 1413.
1350.
And the sign I have now is on the porch.
Gotcha.
Is
So
that going north or south?
it will be in the northbound lane, right there just before you get to say Remax and State Farm. The house sits back off the road some. House/office.
Any comments or questions?
Solar light preferred.
That's good to me.
Okay. If there are no comments or questions, I'd like to look for a motion for approval of a sign application, F. Douglas Harrell Agency at 1413 North Main Street.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay. Application is approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Next on the agenda, introduction of the Town of Hampstead Water Treatment Plant's concept site plans.
Okay, so here we go. We've been talking about this for months. This will be the largest project the town has ever spearheaded by far. People think of the Main Street project or the bypass. Those were both state highway projects. This one, town is owner, developer, whole kit and caboodle. Payer. So, start with this. I gave you guys a little 2-page, 8.5 by 11 handout that shows the positioning or the locations of the 4 water treatment plants. On the first page at the top, you'll see the North Carroll Farms water treatment plant. That is the same location where it is now. The existing building will stay, and we're putting an addition on it, a larger addition to house the GAC equipment. The other thing this process is doing, as we've talked about, is it's centralizing our water system. So as you can see on that one, we will be bringing the waters from well 35, wells 19, and well 36 over to that water treatment plant.
Oh, that's the main plant, or just for those wells?
Just for those wells will go to the North Carroll water treatment plant. And then we come down below, we have the dairy water treatment plant, which is a brand new facility. It sits back basically right behind the Northern Welcome sign in that field. If you look back there, there's a building that was built a couple of years ago, which is the Carroll County sewer pump station. It will be sitting just to the side of that. That's where we'll build it. And it will bring in the waters from wells 20 and 21, which are back in that vicinity. And then we also will be bringing the water from wells 11 and 12, which are up by the tennis courts in Melvin Miller Park. Bring it down Main Street and then 90 degrees under the road and back to the new water treatment plant. Then on page 2, on the left-hand side, we have Shiloh Water Treatment Plant, which will be a brand new facility. We'll leave the existing building there, but everything will happen in the new water treatment plant. We purchased land there last year to be able to build this building and have the room. Right now at that locations are wells 31 and 32, correct? That's where 30, just 32? Or no, just 31, yes. And then we'll bring in water from wells 28 and 29, which is located over on Dakota. It'll come over. And then also we'll bring the water from well 32, which is back in Wellesley. And those 4 wells will all be treated at Shiloh. And then the other new one will be the Hampstead Valley Water Treatment Plant. This is the simplest of all 4. Basically, this is going to go on the corner of the Chief Sipes Park on Lower Beckleysville Road. It'll be a brand new facility. And what we'll do is we will just pipe the water up from well 13, which is right down the street on Lower Beckleysville, and it will just go, and that will be the only well being treated by that facility. The actual pipe lines are a separate phase of this project. They do not need planning and zoning approval. All they are is grading permits with the county, and we're in the process of obtaining those grading permits. So we hope to beginning. We've been delayed a little bit with MDEs, the way that they're reviewing it. So now we're hoping to be in the spring with the pipelines to start that project.
Hey, Jim, how big are these plants? These water, these new
So
ones, the new ones?
at this point, I'm going to hand it over to Jason. Jason is with GMB Engineering, one of the 2 engineering firms working on the plan.
Can I just ask one clarification question from you real quick?
Yeah.
Not that it really affects anything in my grand scheme of life, but the wells for the Shiloh one, I thought you had said 31 only, not 32.
No, I'm
and
sorry,
then-
31's the only one that's treated at the facility that's there now.
Got it, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, and before you get going, yeah, just once you treat it, does it go directly into the sewer system to go to homes, or does it get pumped to a tank then out?
It doesn't go in the sewer system.
I'm not sorry, the water lines to feed into homes.
That's why he's an engineer and he can answer these questions.
It does. It has to. It does go into the distribution system from there. We have to achieve a contact time before it gets there, so there's a length of pipe that it has to achieve through the disinfection to achieve that contact time before it hits the distribution system. But yes, it pumps right into the distribution system and then charges the tanks as it goes through there. So, but your question in terms of the buildings, the new buildings are approximately about 40 by 50 in terms of size, in terms of what they need. And they've got, underneath the plans, there are some architectural views for each of the buildings that you can see, which have, they are to scale, but it kind of gives you an idea in terms of what the sizes are. But approximately, 40 by 50 is the size of the Dairy Wells building. The expansion that on the facility at North Carroll Farms is just adding on a section.
And actually, yeah, that's page A14
A14
is the
is the expansion.
yeah, and so what you can see the difference in the existing, which is the lower building, and then the new building is the much taller building.
Right. And the reason for the height difference is the treatment units inside there require that height to be able to fit within the buildings. They're too large for the existing height. Shiloh's about the same size as what Dairy Wells will be in terms of the building. The building at for Hampstead Valley is a little smaller. It's more in the 30 by 40 range.
And having looked at this really closely, it looks like the existing ones that you're adding on to, those are gonna stay the brick, but these
Yes.
new ones are gonna be,
There'll be
Steel,
metal siding and shingles. So just real quick, kind of going through the site plans, just to note some of the distinctions between them. With Dairy, there's an access road that comes down to the existing well house at 2021. Part of this is to put a new access road down, a new easement down the side to provide more, better access, not going between the homes to get back to that site anymore. So there'll be the new access road coming down, the new site there with the water treatment plant building, fenced area, some access roads and some turnaround areas. There's an equalization tank that'll be down there, plus some stormwater management facilities that'll be there for, as required for the impervious area.
What is an equalization tank?
Equalization tank, it's basically, it's a buried concrete tank.
Got it.
It's for the waste flows so that we can slowly bleed that into the sanitary system.
So it won't be visible at all?
Sorry?
It will not be visible then,
It'll be, there might be a top to it, so we might have some access hatches there, but it'll be buried. And then the North Carroll Farms with the addition, adding that, we'll add some access road around the side of the building. So that'll be there for some additional impervious areas, so that's being addressed underneath the stormwater management as well. Shiloh is a new facility that'll be built next to where the existing well house is at Shiloh. There'll be access roads, fence. There's another equalization. There is an equalization tank at that one as well. And then sanitary will connect down through the park area down to the sanitary down toward Shiloh. Hampstead Valley, smaller building, being in the park. One of the sections underneath the site plan is we are providing some plantings along the property line just for some screening. It'll be a fenced area. There's extension of the access road from where the existing parking area is to extend that over for access, and then it'll be fenced as well.
Yeah. Basically, Dairy Wells, no one will ever see. It's so far back off the road. The only time anyone will ever see it is if and when they ever develop the North Carroll Business Park. Then there may be some new buildings or businesses back in there that may see it. But they're going to be, attractive work buildings. And the small excavation tanks or stuff like that, if they're visible, they're not gonna be anything that large or extreme.
If anything's visible for them, it'll be an access hatch on the top. It'll be accurate.
But they're all gonna be fenced and
Yep.
some kind of landscaped screening.
We have screening proposed at the Hampstead Valley along the property line. That's,
North Carroll Farms, no one will ever see,
yeah,
or
down-
shouldn't see. It's back a private drive.
The dairy's the same
Yep.
down in the industrial area right next to the pump station.
Shiloh is right there next to Shiloh Elementary. The existing station that's been there for years doesn't have any landscaping or anything.
You said you were rerouting those two access roads, so the dairy one that's right now off of 30 that goes between the two houses, right? That's not gonna be there anymore, or?
No, we're gonna, that's gonna stop at the property line,
Okay.
the existing property line, and then we're gonna restore that section,
Okay.
and then reroute that.
Go
access.
into the, like, where that road goes for the business park, or where is it gonna come out?
So where it's gonna go is, as you're driving north, and you're right passing Greenmount Station, on the other side of the street, that last house.
Yep,
You have the last house,
And
then
then
you
the
have the
sign.
welcome sign.
yep,
So right now,
gonna
there's
go
an
right there.
existing 20-foot easement that goes back there. What we're doing is we're expanding it, and we have the approval of the IDA to do it to 40 feet. So then it will be a road. It'll be an easement for utilities along with an egress easement. And that will be the way that we'll get in and out of there.
and then the upper Ford one, is that one changing where it's coming in and out between those two houses?
that's not
That's gonna
changing.
stay, okay.
That's gonna stay. But the dairy wells, where the access road is, that's actually where the existing water line comes out of 2021 now.
Okay,
So,
yeah, okay, so it's gonna go on top of the water line, kinda,
next-
sorta,
right,
yeah, yeah.
right.
But you're basically, so you're shifting it from between the two houses to really the other side of that one
Get a little
house,
better
right? Yeah.
access through
That's
there and be able to
probably
bring.
good for them too.
We'll need to bring some larger trucks down there for some of the construction and also for maintenance of the facility, so it'll just help for access.
So Jim, that patch of land there around the sign and where the road's gonna be, expanded the easement for that's part of the industrial,
The North Carroll Business Park, which is owned by the Industrial Development Authority.
okay, because it seems like it's a little bit disconnected, but that's all part of that same,
Yeah, it basically, it goes back and then it bends behind those homes and then comes back out on that end.
okay, just a small stretch. Okay. I have another question. If this isn't the time, please let me know, but I'm just wondering, the old buildings were brick, which I think is probably a pretty good insulator of sound. What sort of sound would the neighborhoods expect to hear from these, or any?
The
at all?
buildings are constructed, they'll have metal siding on the outside, but they will have CMU block on the inside.
Yeah.
So the interior will be CMU block and then there'll be metal siding just.
So
on the
there
outside
should,
with
there shouldn't be any,
minimal, and the way the facilities work, they work off the pressure of the well pumps. So there's really, the only mechanical equipment in there would be the HVAC, fans, and then the chemical pumps.
Okay.
There aren't any big motors or pumps in those buildings.
okay. Thank you.
So, sure.
So just.
Just the last one, Jason, I think,
Okay.
right?
Just, these are just blow-ups that are in your package, but we did pull out a colored one just to kind of give you an idea of some of the color selections here. So for the metal buildings, looking at a gray type for the metal, and then using a red for the trim, doors, and trunk panels. So this is the general color scheme that's being proposed.
That printed very dark.
It did, and then you
Are
can
you
see
reading my
some
mind?
No, I
there, so it didn't print the greatest.
yeah. So basically, it's a light gray with a burgundy scheme.
Ah, of course.
Yeah.
But these new ones are in spots that really no one's gonna see them, right?
Right.
Except for the one in the park, but that one's gonna be small, much smaller.
Much
And
smaller.
you're gonna have some stuff.
One on Shiloh, you can see if you're going,
Yeah.
out of town, you
But
see it
you've
on the
really gotta
right-hand
be
side
looking.
there, yeah.
So
Right.
you can see the different size ones between
Yeah.
the two of them there. It's a much
Yeah.
smaller facility.
So you couldn't do a sky blue to blend in with the horizon?
Excuse me?
You couldn't do the building a sky blue to blend in with the horizon?
No, this was Public Works going through the color chart and finding colors. And I knew better than to throw in my 2 cents. They're the ones that'll be working in and out and around them all the time.
Seems very reasonable, the colors. I mean, they
Yes.
match other things around town, and
Yep.
that's,
So
Okay.
this is phase one then, all of this.
Yes, so this is gonna follow the normal procedures for any site plan. So the next step will be a public hearing. I expect we will probably do it, next month. I mean, so these site plans have been seen and gone over by myself, Tom Devilbliss, Public Works, Jason, HDR Engineering. So we've got them fine-tuned enough that when they were submitted to the county, there shouldn't be hardly any comments, any rejections. So we're hoping to accomplish this in a 6-month window where we introduce now. Next month will be concept public hearing. Following month will be concept approval, and then repeat it for the finals phase. So a total of 6 months to get this approved by the town. And hopefully, county's moving along at that same rate, and we can get this step out of the way. There's a lot of steps involved in doing this, a lot of it because of the MDE tie-in. So,
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Okay, thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda, discussion of Chapter 4 of the Community Comprehensive Plan, Demographics and Projections.
All right, well, I gave you a copy of this last month. Hopefully everybody got to take a look through it. It's basically just an update on some of the figures from the census, the 2020 census, in comparison with the prior 2010 census numbers, just as a snapshot of the population of Hampstead, where it stands right now. So I'm open to any and all feedback you guys have, so feel free to share.
Yeah, so when you say this is part of the comprehensive plan, when I read through it, it's just really a recounting of the
Right.
actual demographics from the
Exactly, it's just
census.
part.
It's not saying our plan, is there anything relating to, do we want to change the mix of race or age or anything like that? Is that something we just let happen? I mean, it said something in here that we're just aging in place. Is that good, bad? Do we need to plan for anything like this?
Just talking about us.
I think I think this particular chapter is not necessarily going to be addressing that. I think we're gonna try to aim to address that in the next chapter, which is the municipal growth chapter.
Okay.
These
Yeah,
are
this
just
is
the
basically
facts.
just
This
facts.
is just like,
facts,
this is
right.
just, these are the
facts.
numbers we're pulling from to make our plans.
Okay.
and honestly, if you look at the last page, population growth and analytics and statistics, that pretty much, that chart at the bottom shows you the aging in place. How over
Right.
the last, 20 years, how the age of the population overall has gone up, and the younger generation has gone down.
We come, we stay.
Exactly.
I mean,
And that's, we'll
they're-
take that into consideration as we plan for the future.
If this is just a snapshot, should projections be
Yeah,
taken out of the?
that was one thing I was going to ask your opinion on. I was thinking about changing that to population characteristics.
Yeah, because if there's no projections,
Right,
then.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, I agree.
Now, was curious too, I mean, this town of Hampstead, when it said the 6,400 residents, those are those who live within the actual drawn
Yes.
lines of Hampstead.
town limits,
And then
yes.
what does the election district then represent?
Election district is everything in
21074.
210.
In a zip code, it's a zip code then? Okay, got it.
Those are great charts. Even somebody that forgot her reading glasses.
I was struck, though, when you look at the race characteristics of the town itself, it's 99.2% white. And
Was.
Was, and as of 2020.
No.
As of 1990,
Oh, no, it was 1990, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You're
and now
right,
it's-
you're right,
87.2.
87.2, okay.
So
right.
we're getting a little more diverse.
Yeah, I'm not making any comment on it, just, it is what it is, I get it. But you're saying chapter 5 Is that not yet written, or is it?
Correct.
Okay.
Slowly but surely. It's been a couple.
Don't go there.
How many more?
2.
2 more?
2 more chapters,
I feel
okay.
like I say that every month.
You
Two
do.
more, 2 more, 2 in the council meetings, because
Do
Chris
you
always
see how
asks.
big this is?
I know. Hey, we're doing great. You guys are doing great. I'm not.
Quality.
Chris always asks, so I feel like I have to know.
And then we get to start again.
No.
I think we're gonna label
Couple
this
years.
the 2030.
Yeah, and I guess one other just question too. Then I don't know if they're even related, but the schools and everything else, the aging in place, they are drawn directly from this type of information, or do we ask the county to fund or not fund school projects based off of what's in here? Is that more of a county issue, right?
It's a county issue.
I think that's more of a county.
Okay.
County issues, they have their own facts and projections. They project all the way back to how many babies they expect to be born and what locations throughout the county in a given year. So,
Yeah.
They also have our projected housing developments as well, just FYI.
Got it. So this is the discussion, so the next step for this is approval, next meeting, or what's the?
this is it.
This
This
is just the
it.
discussion.
Okay. So are we looking for a motion?
Doesn't it really need a motion, just if anyone wanted to make any changes before we add it to the rest of the draft we have right now.
Any other comments, questions, concerns?
I think I'll just make that change to the title of the
Yes.
chapter and.
Okay, great, thank you. Next up, Carroll County Department of Planning update. Drew.
Good to see everyone. Just a real brief update. Number one, for text amendments for the county would not affect the town. There's the Housing Expansion and Affordability Act, which the Board of County Commissioners voted to forward to the Planning and Zoning Commission for recommendation. This amendment is being discussed due to state legislation passed in this past 2024 legislative session. And there is also the solar site design requirements. These requirements are being discussed due to multiple applicants to the Maryland Public Service Commission for solar facilities in Carroll County, and specifically in the county's agricultural zone. The county does not currently allow for solar facilities in the ag zone, so there are no site design requirements. This amendment would establish possible site design requirements such as landscape buffering and setbacks. And lastly, I think I mentioned this before, but the 2024 APA Maryland chapter of the American Planning Association and the Maryland Planning Commissioners Association will be holding their joint conference down at Turf Valley Resort on October 20th through the 22nd. And if anyone would like to hear about taking the AICP exam as the Professional Development Officer for the state of Maryland, I will be conducting a session down at that conference on that topic. So if you have any questions, please let me know. But I guess when I see you all next, it'll be a little bit cooler out. So thank you all.
Thank you, Andrew.
One question for you. What's going on with the fall amendment to the water and sewer?
Yes, fall amendment, working on that, working through. Actually, one of the things that I wanted to change, even before I came to the county, I thought if I ever had the chance to change this, I would. The layout of the staff report, the staff reports I'm going through to try to make them a little bit clearer, a little bit more comprehensive. So, for instance, someone that picks up the triennial update to the master plan can see, okay, here's the numbers, and then through subsequent amendments, this is how we got from point A to point B, or A to C, or A to G, whatever. Just trying to make it clearer and more comprehensive for anyone who reviews it. So, but Jim, that is in the works. I am hoping potentially next month
Okay.
to bring that. But yeah, as far as Hampstead's concerned, I got the report is actually pretty much done. I'm just working through the other towns. So,
Perfect, thank
yep,
you.
not a problem.
Thank you, Andrew.
You're welcome.
Okay, next on the agenda, any other business? Any public comment?
The thorn in the side, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just curious.
Can you please state your name?
Oh, I'm sorry. Marlene Duff, 945 Boxwood Drive.
Okay, thank you.
Just curious, and I've always wondered about this. The security level, not just with these new water treatment plants, but I've always wondered about the security level of all of Hampstead's water treatment plants. Are they susceptible to access by unauthorized people, or are they pretty secure?
From a physical standpoint, they'll be surrounded, and I think all of them are now with chain link fence, and they are locked. SCADA in
The doors have limit switches on them, so anybody that accesses the doors, there's a SCADA alarm that's activated to the operators to alert the town.
So someone would know if somebody who shouldn't be going in is trying to go in?
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you.
That's a good
Are we
question.
gonna do security cameras?
No.
Has that happened? Do you know? Yeah.
Yeah, no, not that I'm aware of. I don't remember.
It's a good question, though. I mean,
Yeah.
especially because they're brand new and this
Right,
is something
and these
that-
days you have to watch that with everything.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comment? Okay, can I ask for a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, so adjourned. Thank you, everybody.